Welcome to another edition of Pastor Kumuyi's Illustrations.
It is to abide with us forever. And eventually, after he had got the blessing and said, well, it will come, then the mother called Jacob and said, we must play this thing very well. It will soon be over. I'll send you to Laban, but don't tell your father that we discussed this beforehand, and we'll just say you are going to get married over there. But what is marriage? Your life is even more important. But that marriage, we need to use that as a cover note so that you'll get away from Esau. Maybe after some days, his fury and his anger will quench down, will not be there again. And so the wife of Isaac went to him and said, what shall my life do me? If this young man, if he marries from all these Hittites and all these enemies around us, let him go unto Laban. And without this man being prepared for outside life, without being prepared to go and live in another place, he got to a strange land, got to Laban. And you know that he was there for 20 years. Before he came, the mother who loved him had died. And the father who would have protected him was already dim in eyes, almost dying himself. And Esau himself, when he heard that Jacob is coming, he said he will understand. Very, very quickly he got 400 mighty men together. Because he felt he doesn't know how many people he'll be coming from. Before Jacob left, the fight was only between Esau and Jacob. Now as he was coming back, it's not only Esau alone. There were 400 men with Esau that said, if I miss the shooting of the arrow, all these 400 people, I'm not fighting against anybody I don't know. I don't know that he's married Leah. I don't know that he's married Rachel. Neither do I know that he's got children called Reuben, Simeon, or anybody. There's only one person I'm fighting. And you 400 people, there's only one person you are fighting. He looks like me, but I don't like him. We're twin brothers. If you see him, just make sure that he's destroyed. And the servants went. And he had to be asking, who do you belong to? Whose are you? And they said, we are coming from your servant, from your slave, from your brother, from the person who loves you, from the person who has been thinking of you. They said everything. He said, go and tell him, it's not my servant. I'm coming with 400 men. Tell him to get prepared. And that man became afraid. He thought battles were over in the house of Laban. And said, 10 times have you changed my wages all this period, except that the God of my fathers have been with me. He would have sent me away empty-handed. He thought he was fighting. He thought it was a battle. And said, I've never seen a battle like this before. 10 times you've changed my wages. And you've been deceptive and you've just taken me out of my inheritance. Now when will I prepare for my own? And eventually he ran away. And while he was coming, Laban came to meet him. But the Lord warned him and said, this person you are running after, don't do anything against him. I have need of him. I'm the one that told him to go away. So don't touch him. And Laban said, he was still furious and angry, and said, except the Lord, the God of your fathers, appeared to me yesterday night, I would have done something for you. And you know, as he was there, and then they settled everything, how he said, thank God now, all the battles are over. All that I suffered in the house of Laban, everything now is over. And then he counted all his sheep and all the 2 bands and everything. Look at how rich he is. With my staff I passed over this Jordan, and now I'm become 2 bands. And information came that Esau had 400 people. And then he began to pray. And he prayed and he prayed and he prayed. And eventually an angel even came and wrestled with that man. Think about that. I will wrestle with even unseen forces. And eventually he said, your name is changed. You have now prevailed with God and with men. And he said, thank God, thank God. And then marched on. And Esau became softened. And Esau said, let's go together. And he said, no, my Lord. If I found favor in your sight, Look at these young ones. That's a good excuse. The young ones. But lest we overdrive them, why not go on your own? And Jesus said, can I leave these men with you? He said, no, my Lord. I'll be better without them. If I see them, my heart will be beating. You can go on your own. And he thought that the battles of life were over. Now he's settled now. Thank God, now I'm settled. For the rest of my life now, no more problem. And Dinah went to the Shechemites, and they defiled the Shechemites, and they defiled her. And the two brothers said, what? To our sister? And he told those people, circumcise yourself, and he killed all of them. And Jacob said, look at what you have done. We're strangers in this place. Nobody knows us. Look at how small we are. All these people will come and crush me. The thing that I thought was ended, another battle will start again. And then he looked at this young boy, Joseph, and he loved that Joseph. And just gave him a coat of many colors. And the other people hated him. Because of that, eventually Joseph was not. And he said, let me die. The mother is dead. And this boy that I love so much, an animal has torn him to pieces. Just let me die. And eventually after years, 13 years now have passed. And they said that already now, Joseph was still alive. Oh, he said, no, I won't believe. I've been deceived too many times to believe everybody now. It's only God that I can believe. But look at all the chariots and all the things that he has sent. He wanted to believe it. Then he went to pray and said, God, are they deceiving me again? And God said, go with them. And he went with them. He got to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh said, how old are you? And he remembered all the years. There has not been any resting period from conception to old age. It was a time of battle. And he said, few are the number of years of thy servant, but they have been full of trouble. That's why the Bible emphasizes faith in that person's life. Without that faith, he will not have been able to carry through. And that's why you need to emphasize faith in your own heart as well, and in your own life. That what you need is faith. Now let's pick up another man. This man, Moses. It was again a life of battles. At birth, the parents had to battle between the will of God and the decree of Pharaoh. The will of God was that this individual should live. And this individual should bring the children of Israel out of Egypt. But then Pharaoh had made a decree, and it was a battle. It was a battle between life and death. The midwife should have killed Moses, but they didn't. But eventually the mother had to just make a basket and then put him there and put him by the brink of Nile. Early in life, instead of actually belonging totally to the mother, even though the mother was taking care of him, he had to belong to Pharaoh's daughter. It was a battle of where did he belong. Did he belong to Egypt, or did he belong to Israel? Then eventually, because of what he did, he ran away out of Egypt. Well, some of us sometimes will preach and will say, because of what he did, he suffered. How about if he had not done anything? If he had been perfect, no mistake, he would not have suffered at all. You think so? That Satan would have left the man alone who delivered Israel from Egypt? That if the man that delivered Israel from Egypt never made any mistake at all, was perfect and holy, no sin, no mistake of killing that individual, Satan would have left him alone. You know the world in which we live. If a man is perfect and he hasn't any problem at all, has no weakness or frailty at all, the people of the world, if they hate him for bringing Israel out of Egypt, they find something around his feet and they say he has done this. Were not the Egyptians sinners? Were they not servants of Satan? Couldn't Satan use them to bring evil and havoc and harm against the life of Moses? Well, he did what he did, and eventually he ran to Midian. Now, it was a battle of choice. What was he to do in life? To be a lifetime shepherd or leader of God's people out of bondage as God originally intended. We know it's a battle because when eventually God came to him and said, "You'll go back to Egypt and you'll deliver these people," he said, "Me, God, choose another person." And he began to give excuses. He had become convinced that he couldn't fulfill that purpose of God. Then he went back eventually to Pharaoh. And before Pharaoh, wasn't that a great battle? As Pharaoh sometimes will threaten, "You will see my face no more." But eventually they came out and they were in the wilderness. Have you counted how many times that the Israelites themselves wanted to stone Moses? Have you counted how many times they rebuked him and chided with him and said, "You said you are bringing us to the land flowing with milk and honey. Where is the milk and where is the honey?" And he will fall upon his face. It was a battle to get Israel into Canaan. And even the land of Canaan itself. Did he get there? It was a great battle. Then he died. Of course, God honored him and gave him a burial that Israel could not give him. But it's in the New Testament we have the curtain lifted that even on the dead body of Moses, Satan and an angel are to fight. Even on the dead body, saying, "Oh no, why should he enter?" But it's faith that made these people to get through. There is battle. There is battle. Sometimes we see some of those battles. Sometimes we don't even see some of those battles. Sometimes it's only in the spiritual realm, only in the spirit, only in the heart. But you know, many people that don't understand about the battles of life, they feel, well, so and so is my problem. So and so is my problem. The state overseer is my problem. Or the pastor is my problem. Or that sister that has not agreed to marry me is my problem. Or that brother who cheated me and has not married me is my problem. Oh, if you only knew your problem. You look away from all those things and all those people that are not problems at all. And you know, when you are fighting battles of no consequence, you don't have strength and energy to fight the battles that are really of consequence. When you are fighting the battle and they didn't greet me, they didn't give me good position in church, they didn't make me the coordinator of the house fellowship system, they didn't allow me to be the national or the state evangelist, they didn't allow me to be assistant state overseer. When you are fighting all that battle, the other real battle you don't know about. And that's why many of us are whipped, because you don't know your enemy. You have not seen where is the enemy actually, and fight him. And I believe that from today you'll be a victor. Amen. Because you are discovering that if there is battle in your life, there is nothing strange. For everyone that is significant in the kingdom of God, there will be a battle. That's how life is. That's what brings reward at the end of the day. If there was no fighting, there will be no victory. No battle, then there will be no conqueror. But it's because there is fighting. That's why there are conquerors and victors. And I pray that in your life, you'll be conquerors in Jesus' name. Amen.
I hope you have been blessed by this edition of Pastor Kumuyi's illustrations. Please don't let this illustration die. Pass it on to others, and you could be of help to someone somewhere. Till we meet next week again for another edition of Pastor Kumuyi's illustrations. Remain blessed.